Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a Salvadoran migrant, is at the center of a heated national debate over immigration, due process, and executive power. His recent arrest by ICE in Baltimore, during a scheduled check-in, has reignited controversy, especially since it allegedly violated a federal judge's order. Supporters argue he's been unfairly targeted and denied legal protections, while the government insists its actions are necessary for public safety. Abrego Garcia's case is tangled in years of legal battles, including a previous deportation found unlawful by the courts. The Supreme Court ordered his return to the U.S., but his legal troubles only deepened, highlighting the clash between judicial authority and executive enforcement. For some, he represents a system failing to remove dangerous individuals. For others, he's a symbol of eroding due process. The latest events in Baltimore set the stage for a high-stakes legal showdown over the limits of government power. Before dawn, hundreds gathered outside the Baltimore ICE office, holding a candlelight vigil for Abrego Garcia. Fears proved justified. During his routine check-in, ICE agents arrested him without explanation or paperwork, alarming his legal team. The arrest appeared to defy a court order from Judge Paula Zinnes, who had barred ICE from detaining him to ensure due process. His lawyers saw this as a deliberate attempt to sidestep the courts and rush his deportation. In response, they filed an emergency habeas petition, challenging the legality of his detention and seeking to halt his removal. The petition argues he deserves a fair trial in immigration court, not secretive removal. The case now returns to Judge Zinnes, forcing a direct confrontation over the government's actions. The outcome could reshape the balance between judicial oversight and executive power. Abrego Garcia's legal saga began years ago, with the Trump administration labeling him an MS-13 gang member, a claim his supporters dispute as unproven. In 2019 he was deported to El Salvador despite a court order, prompting a federal judge, and later the Supreme Court, to mandate his return. Back in the US, he faced new federal charges for human smuggling, spending months in detention. Just days before his Baltimore arrest, he was released under strict supervision, including electronic monitoring and mandatory ICE check-ins. His lawyers argue the government is determined to keep him detained and deport him by any means, bypassing the immigration court system. They see the criminal charges and gang allegations as tactics to deny him a fair hearing. The government, meanwhile, frames its actions as lawful enforcement. The case remains a flashpoint in the debate over immigration and due process. Abrego Garcia's arrest has polarized the nation. Supporters, including faith leaders, rallied at the ICE office, calling him a victim of injustice and demanding his right to a fair hearing. They argue his case tests America's commitment to due process for all. Top officials, like DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, praised the arrest as a win for public safety, insisting he's a dangerous criminal. The administration's plan to deport him to Uganda, where he has no ties, has sparked outrage and legal challenges. Critics call the move legally dubious and morally indefensible, raising concerns about his safety and rights. For his legal team, the government's actions represent executive overreach and a strategy to sidestep the courts. For the administration, it's decisive law enforcement. Abrego Garcia's fate now rests with the courts. Judge Zinnes must decide if his detention violated her order, a ruling that could set a major precedent. The government argues it acted within its mandate. His lawyers claim a breach of judicial authority. The controversial plan to deport him to Uganda adds another layer, raising legal and ethical questions about third-country removals. His lawyers will challenge the policy, arguing it violates U.S. and international law. At stake is the principle of due process, whether Abrego Garcia will get a fair hearing or be removed without one. The outcome could shape future immigration enforcement and the limits of executive power. As the case unfolds, it remains a focal point in America's ongoing debate over justice and who deserves protection under the law.